Good afternoon. Welcome to this webinar series about grazier safety. I'm Ros Rees, Senior Project Officer in the Agriculture Unit of Workplace Health and Safety Queensland, and I'll be your facilitator for today's webinar. This will be the first of a series of 6 webinars based on the Serious About Farm Safety Guide to assist you to develop a simple safety management system. The full guide and templates are available on the Workplace Health and Safety website. The webinars will be taking you through each of the steps of a safety management system. Templates and checklists for each session will be provided, and there'll be time for some questions at the end. We would really appreciate you taking the time to complete the quick survey at the end of each webinar to provide us with your feedback. There will be a webinar at the beginning of each month for the next 6 months, then 2 early next year from WorkCover on managing injuries and return to work and common law claims. I'd like to say thank you to OB Organic for their collaboration for the production of these webinars and also Grazing BMP. I'd like now to introduce Darlene Ray, the General Manager of OB Organics, to just say a few words of introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. OB Organic is proud to be partnering with Workplace Health and Safety Queensland, WorkCover and Grazing BMP to bring you this webinar series. OB Organic is Australia's oldest beef marketing company, founded 20 years ago by graziers to maximise the value of their product. We're a family farming business like many of yours. The organic industry is well known for paying premiums for cattle, but at OB Organic we want to go beyond that and support graziers like yourselves to build multi-generational businesses that are more profitable and productive. These farm safety webinars are just one of the ways OB is working to make the lives of cattle producers better, especially organic cattle producers. Some of our other initiatives to benefit graziers include working with the Livestock Biosecurity Network to produce a biosecurity workbook specific to the organic cattle industry, providing an OB Organic Beef Producers Forum on Facebook for producers anywhere in Australia to ask questions and share knowledge. And if you're organic or considering organic, I'd encourage you to join. Perhaps most importantly, working with Grazing BMP to run best practice forums every 6 months. I'd highly recommend any beef producer to join the Grazing BMP program. It's free, voluntary, industry-owned and proven to pinpoint where you can improve your grazing business. Go to www.bmpgrazing.com.au for more information, or come along to our next OB Organic Grazing BMP Forum, which will be held in Birdsville on the 27th to the 28th of September. Details are on the OB Organic website. We know these farm safety webinars are needed because our work with Grazing BMP has pinpointed farm safety as one of the areas that can most be improved on cattle properties. We also know it's really difficult for graziers like yourselves to get to a workshop in town somewhere, and that even if you do get to a workshop, whatever you learn is often quickly forgotten unless there is follow-up. So in the OB Organic spirit of innovation, we've worked with our partners to develop this series that is just for cattle producers, that breaks farm safety into small steps and that has follow-up every month to help you continually learn. Our industry really needs to do better on farm safety. I hope this webinar series helps, and I hope to see all of you back here every month. Please tell your friends about this farm safety webinar series, and please contact me at OB Organic if you'd like to talk about supplying us. We always need more organic cattle to meet demand. Thank you.
Thank you, Darlene. I'd like to now introduce Brenton Garlick. He's your presenter for today. Brenton has worked in the health and safety and injury compensation field for 6 years, starting at WorkCover Queensland and now Workplace Health and Safety Queensland. Brenton has worked with the agriculture industry for 4 years, including presenting with Beef BMP around the Fitzroy Basin and more recently at Charleville in conjunction with OB. Over to you now, Brenton.
Excellent. Okay, thanks Ros, and welcome to everyone that's joined us today for the first of our 6 webinars that we're putting on. What I'll do, I'll jump straight into the information just so that we can make sure we get everything that you need to know in time and we don't run out of time for any questions that we have at the end. Okay, so our first slide here is the industry statistics. Now this is available on our website and I won't dwell on it too much. However, these statistics highlight why health and safety are so important in your workplace. Just to bring your attention to just a few of these, just to highlight what's actually going on in your industry. On the left-hand side of this slide, you can see that roughly there are 15 deaths each year in the agricultural industry. So that equates to, on average, 1 every 3 weeks. There's $22 million paid each year in workers' compensation, and that averages out to roughly $42,000 per week for the industry. And on average, there's 52 days of time lost due to injury, which is almost 2 months per worker. So this just highlights that without robust safe work practices, this can really cost both the business and the entire sector quite a lot of money, not to mention the actual cost to the workers involved and the human factors. So this and the coming webinars have been designed with the beef cattle industry in mind and complement the Serious About Farm Safety Guide, which is available on the Workplace Health and Safety website. Okay, so as you can see, there are a number of benefits to be had from managing safely correctly in your workplace. Now this just follows on from the previous slide with all the statistics. So you can see that the benefits are improved reliability and productivity in the workplace. It protects against business interruption. It helps you comply with the law. You'll have reduced costs and build organisational capacity. You'll build public trust as well as improved worker relations and experience, hopefully, some business growth. So as we all know, there is the Workplace Health and Safety Act and regulations, which we won't go into too much today, but I just need to bring your attention to the primary duties, as this is what underpins yourself as the employers and also your health and safety management systems. So the Health and Safety Act places health and safety duties on a number of persons within the workplace, such as the person conducting business and undertakings, which is the PCBU, also officers, workers and other persons in the workplace. So the PCBU holds the primary duty of care within the workplace. The PCBU is usually the employer and may be a partnership, a company, an unincorporated body or association. It can also be a sole trader, government department or a statutory authority. It's important to note that a person may have more than one health and safety duty and more than one person may actually have the same duty as well. So they must ensure, as far as is reasonably practicable, the health and safety of workers while they are at work in the business or the undertaking. Of course, even if you don't have any employees, you still have a duty to ensure your own safety as well as the safety of any visitors or others in the workplace as well. Now, one of the best ways to show compliance of your duties under the Workplace Health and Safety Act is to have a health and safety management system. So as you can see, we have broken this down into 6 manageable chunks for you, which will be the focus of each of our monthly webinars. So that'll be management commitment, risk management, safe systems of work, induction, training and supervision, reporting safety, as well as the workers' compensation, 2 webinars at the end. So today's webinar will be on the management commitment. So if health and safety is promoted as a high priority and managers lead by example and are genuinely interested in safety and health initiatives, this will help drive the health and safety culture with your workers. So workplace health and safety policy forms the framework for all your businesses and work operations, and it also helps to maintain an accident-free workplace. A policy describes the desired standard, the priority and time frame for implementation, and what is expected from management and workers. It should also contain information about consulting with workers or their elected representatives. So the policy should be signed off by the business owner, which is the PCBU, and also the workers' representative, and have a date of review. Then all workers should be made aware of the policy and ensure that it is understood. You need to also, as the PCBU, make sure that this is to be enforced, and you need to keep the workplace health and safety policy up to date and relevant to your workplace. Now, along with the invitation to this webinar, as well as online, the Workplace Health and Safety Agricultural Unit does have some templates and checklists for you. So the first of the 4 templates and checklists that we have today is a management commitment. So this has 13 simple questions there for you to answer. They have a yes, no, don't know, and not applicable box that you can tick. Not all of these questions and answers will be relevant to you for your business, and of course you can add on to these to make sure it is tailored for your business as well. So going through this checklist will give you an understanding of where your business is sitting in relation to its management commitment. This checklist asks you questions such as, does your business have a health and safety policy? Can the owner and managers state their health and safety duties when asked? Do owners, managers update their health and safety knowledge regularly? As well as a few others just to help you along the track. As I said, the template and checklist were sent out with the invitation to this webinar. However, they can be sent to you after the webinar, or you can log on to our website and find those out as well. So the Workplace Health and Safety Policy, it provides a framework for your business. It describes expected standards, priorities, and timeframes as well. It describes how consultation will occur with workers. It needs to be signed off by yourself and the representative. You need to have a review date, and you need to make sure all workers are aware. So if you do have access to the sample health and safety policy that we have provided, you can have a look at that now. It does have 4 sections, so for those of you who don't have that, if you just want to take notes, you can have a look at it at the end of the webinar. So if you do have that handy, you can see that the first few dot points there outline the general duties. So they're the duties that we went through just previously. The second section there is all about the management commitment. So it's what the management is actually responsible for as part of the health and safety policy. The third section is all about the workers' responsibility. As we have seen by the duties, it's not just the PCBU and the managers who now have responsibility. It's up to every single person in the workplace, including the workers, to understand what their duties are under the Act. And lastly, at the bottom, you can see that this policy is part of the entire management plan with the overall goal of having a 0 work-related injuries and illnesses to workers, contractors, and members of the public. It's then signed by the PCBU and the health and safety representative, and it's really important to have a review date. It needs to be reviewed regularly because you don't know how or when the duties are going to change within your workplace. You may change people, or the actual business operations may also change as well. So going on to the next slide, if it will come up, is onto the consultation. So consultation is required under the legislation. It can take on a number of forms depending on the size and structure of your business. And a good way to consult with your workers, either informally or formally, is by just sitting down with your workers over morning tea and just having a chat about what's going on in the workplace, what everyone's up to, and even what your business is expecting to do in the future. You can just make a diary note of what has been discussed and any of the actions decided on, and this would also form part of your consultation. You can also have a bit more of a formal meeting and toolbox talks. It really depends on the size of your business and your organisation and whether you have a lot of employees or whether it's just yourself and your partner as running the business, and even if you don't have any formal employees in your farm or in your business on a day-to-day basis. So you will need to record these meetings, whether they are informal or not, and any actions or decisions that are made from those meetings. So a template for this is also provided, but you can create your own if preferred, remembering that in the case of a serious incident, any records that you do keep will help to demonstrate your commitment to managing workplace health and safety. So consulting with workers, you need to make them feel more involved in the process, and because they do the work, they can provide the best input into looking at workplace health and safety issues. By giving them buy-in to any decisions that are made, especially in relation to workplace health and safety, will also make them more committed to the process and more likely to accept any changes that are introduced. And this provides the employees, I should say, to feel empowered and actually get on board with all your health and safety procedures and policies. So that brings us to the third of our templates that we have provided for you. The third is the consultation checklist. So again, it has roughly around 13 questions with the yes, no, don't know, and not applicable. And if you just go through and answer those, it will give you a bit of a snapshot on how you are consulting with your workers in the workplace. Again, though, this isn't just for people who do have employees. This can be anyone that has contractors who come onto your property, and it can also be between yourself and other members of the partnership or family members as well. So following on from that, the fourth of our templates is the record of staff toolbox meetings. As we said, when you're recording this information, it can either be informal or formal. The record of staff toolbox meetings that we have provided in the template is a more formal way of actually recording the consultation within the workplace. As a lot of you are business owners in rural areas, a lot of you own larger properties, and of course you wouldn't be near the office or the home on a day-to-day basis. A lot of you do carry pocketbooks or little notepads, so a more informal way would just to be recording that on your notepads as well. That's absolutely fine. So the key message to take out of the consultation is documentation. So as we've said, this does not need to be too comprehensive. As long as there is some form of record, if anything does happen in the future, it always provides you with something that you can actually look back on and reflect on. So just some key summary points about the information that we've given today. The key to a good, robust safety management system is to break it down into manageable chunks. So this is what we have done for you for each of these seminars, and each seminar is one of these chunks. We've done this so we don't overwhelm you with too much information, and you can actually have more time in actually getting your systems up to date and actually manageable for yourself and your business. Of course, there are other resources you can use in conjunction with the webinars for both businesses with and without employees. This includes things such as the contractor management resources, which can be found on the AgForce website, the Serious About Farm Safety Guide, which is found on the Workplace Health and Safety Queensland website, as well as contacting Workplace Health and Safety Queensland directly for further information if you need. So the second of our chunks of information that we are providing to you in 4 weeks' time is risk management, which is roughly 4 weeks from now. So you have plenty of time to think about your management commitment and also your consultation with your workers, and make sure that you can have a good policy which you can implement between now and the next webinar. So what I'll do, I'll hand you back now to Roz just to go through some formalities, just so we can see if there's any further questions that anyone would like to answer.
Thanks very much, Brenton. So just while we're waiting for any questions to come in, you can see up there on the screen some information on how to contact us. So there's the info line and the Agriculture@Justice email address, which will give you direct access to myself and Brenton. And so if you have any specific questions or you want specific information, send an email to us on that agricultural email address, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. The webinars will be available on the website in a couple of weeks, and I'll notify all the attendees via an email so that you can go back and review the information at any time if you wish to. And also we'll probably notify on the OBI Facebook page of when those webinars are available on the website, so anybody can go then and have a look at those and go through the information. Please take a few minutes, as I said earlier, to complete the survey that will pop up at the end of the webinar. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so we'd really appreciate you taking a few minutes to do that. Any questions coming through? So if there are any questions, they can be sent through later. And what we'll do is we'll answer all those questions and send them out to everyone who attended so that you'll all get that information. And we'll put the questions, will be up on the website, or I can provide them via email. So please do contact us. We'd be very happy to help you out. Personally, if you have any specific information, we're very happy to have a chat or send us an email. One of us can give you a ring. Whatever the best way is for us to contact you, just let us know. We also have a Rural eSafe newsletter which comes out 3 times a year, and you can subscribe to that on the Workplace Health and Safety website. Oh, we have a question coming in. The question is, should contractors be consulted to? And definitely yes. Anybody who comes onto your workplace, they need to be consulted with. You should ensure that they're aware of any safe work procedures or any other policies that you have in your workplace. And you should also ensure that the contractors themselves have safe work procedures and processes in place. If you have a little look at the Contractor Management Guide, which you can find, as Brenton said, on the AgForce website, it will just give you an overview of how to manage a contractor coming onto your place, mustering, fencing, whatever that may be. That guide was put together by the Beef Industry Safety Advisory Group, and it's a good little resource to just give you some guidance on how to manage those contractors. So I suggest that this webinar is just the first step in your safety management system. So just take a couple of hours, have a bit of a think about your policy, go back and review the information that we've provided you today, and then log into next month's webinar, which will take you through to the next step. Another question coming through now. Should we have an induction for all workers entering the property? The answer is yes, they should all be inducted into the property. Even though they may have been working for you previously, or they may have been on a different site, they may have worked on a different property doing the same job. Every site is different, and there may be things like you need to make them aware of no-go zones, overhead power lines, where yards and fences are. They need to be aware of your operating procedures, so they should all be inducted into your workplace. The induction and training and supervision webinar is the 4th one in this series, so we can provide you some more information about that. But there is more information on our website. But please send an email if you have something specific. We'd be very happy to answer that for you if you send an email through. There's a question that's come through the working hours for the phone number that we mentioned. It's info line, and general business hours is for that. That info line is also the phone number you would use to report any incidents on your property. However, if you wish to contact someone out of hours, we can, or if it's more convenient for you to talk to someone out of hours, if you, again, just send an email to that email address, we can provide you with a contact for your local health and safety inspector, who would be more than happy to have a chat to you at a time convenient. So there's a question that comes in through what's an incident that you need to report. There is a definition for those. There's a little bit of information about that in the Series About Farm Safety Guide, but I would suggest that perhaps if you go to the website and look through the regulations, the Workplace Health and Safety regs, that will outline them in more detail. But there are specific definitions for serious incidents. So there would be something that would perhaps require hospitalisation and attention from a doctor, and of course, obviously, if it involves serious incidents, for instance, amputations or anything like that, obviously they would have to be reported. The 5th webinar is the one that will be talking more about reporting safety as well. But if you need that information before then, please either contact myself on that email address, either ring info line, or have a look on the website, and the full details of those reportable incidents is on the website. There's another question about finding the templates that we mentioned earlier today. We can email them to you if you'd like to send an email to that agricultural email address. I'm happy to send them out personally to you, or they are on the website. If you go to the worksafe.qld.gov.au and just search for Serious About Farm Safety, that will take you to the website where you will find a copy of the guide and the templates. Okay, I think that's come to the end of our questions for today, but I'd like to thank you all very much for attending and look forward to seeing you at webinar number 2 at the beginning of August, and keep an eye out on the OBI Facebook page for some information about that and for registering. And please do send in an email if you need assistance, and we will talk to you in August. Thank you very much.